Good afternoon. It's Tuesday, April the 7th, 2020. Time for what we're calling our Mayor's Briefing, daily Mayor's Briefing. But actually, we're going to have a different expert sitting in this time because Clay, as I understand it, has been counseled after an extremely busy weekend. And if you've seen his message on Facebook, I recommend that you take a look at it. It's a good piece of writing. But he's been counseled to take a breather and maintain his health and sanity. So instead, from the city's incident management team, we're going to get a chance to visit with Heather Brannon. And that conversation will be our update for today. Alrighty, Heather, what's some of the latest developments, say, over the last few days, even the last 24 hours? Is obviously a very fast-moving thing, but what have you guys got going on that you think is going to be of interest to the community here?
So we have some really positive information today. NVE has been approved to receive an Avid rapid testing machine. This means that we would be able to test and also receive results in Cordova without sending test kits out to Anchorage or otherwise. The testing supplies are limited, and we don't know how many NVE will receive, but when they do receive tests, they will continue to follow the CDC guidelines for testing. The state has also received 50 Avid testing machines, and they are currently working on criteria for delivery of machines to communities. Once that is developed, they will be hopefully shipping those out, and potentially Cordova could be one of those options. The testing is not as accurate as standard testing, but the results can be confirmed locally, which would be a huge asset to us once these processes begin to take place. Additionally, something that was talked about today with ANZINC and the CDC was that the onset of the symptoms they're finding for COVID-19 are often very mild. You know, they're starting with sniffles and maybe a low-grade bump in temperature that doesn't seem like a lot. And then the third or fourth day, they're noticing that temperature can suddenly rise to like 101.3. And so what they're kind of putting out there for information to communities is that if you're still, in an office working or, mingling amongst coworkers or the population in some sort of way, even if you have the slightest symptom of illness, they're really recommending that you make the choice to kind of stay home and hunker down and wait, a few days to make sure that your symptoms are not going to expound and become an issue later on. Additionally, they have redone the dashboard at the Alaska Health and Social Services site. If you click on the COVID-19 link, it will take you to a portion where now you can also see, how many cases have been confirmed, how many hospitalizations, how many fatalities, and also how many cases have recovered. So if that's something that you haven't checked out, I would encourage everyone to get on there, and it's just kind of a good way to keep yourself informed. They've also got it broken down by age group, by sex, by borough, and they're kind of just breaking that information out for folks to just help them understand what's going on widespread throughout the state. Currently, they have 213 lab-confirmed cases for the state of Alaska, 23 hospitalizations, and 6 fatalities. The case count for each individual community is that even if a person is diagnosed in Anchorage, but they're from Fairbanks, they will be counted as a Fairbanks case. So that's something for everyone to keep in mind. As far as the incident management team today, they have the operations team working very hard on putting together some different task forces. And hopefully by the week, we're going to have some more information on how that develops. I have a good feeling that by Friday, we're going to have a lot of information for the community. And we just hope that everyone is doing really well and holding up the best that they can. And if you guys have any questions, please email us at cordovaprepared@yahoo.com, and we will be glad to get back to you as soon as we can answer any of your concerns.
Okay, and one other thing quick. that, and you guys mentioned this in the most recent newsletter, but the idea of homemade masks, if people have to be in public, and obviously everybody's supposed to be at home absolutely as much as possible, but for those essential things or for the essential workers, if you've got to be out, is the team pretty on board with the homemade mask use? Really would like to see people using those?
Oh, absolutely. And we definitely recommend that when people are out and about in public that they put a mask on, whether it's an N95 or one of the homemade masks. We do have a large number of ladies out in the community who are making those masks, and Kathy Renfeld actually designed a Google sign-up sheet that's currently on Facebook. So if you don't know how to reach someone who can make a mask for you or have access to one within your home, we encourage you to get on that sign-up sheet. It's kind of helping those ladies expedite that process. But as far as wearing the mask in public, when you cough inside of a mask, the span of your breath and whatever should be coming out of your body at that point, it doesn't go as far, and that kind of helps create a shorter distance of infection. And the idea is that if you are someone who has COVID-19 and you cough, it keeps it more generated towards yourself as opposed to outward to those who may be around you. So it is really, really important, and you are going to see probably a lot of guidelines change on that throughout the state. I know that they're really pushing it through in health mandates, and kind of recommending those type of procedures throughout the public. I would definitely encourage everyone in the community to take advantage of that, because it's a tool that we are given that can make a huge difference in our community.
And it's worth reiterating, too, it's not the primary means of preventing the spread. It's been talked about. There's a temptation to think, if I've got a mask on, I don't have to be as careful about social distancing, which, of course, is absolutely, completely wrong. It would greatly undermine, if people started to think more that way, it would undermine the progress that has been made in the effectiveness of social distancing and getting that curve down. So basically do everything that, the same way that you would as if you didn't have a mask, and consider the mask sort of a bonus or icing on the cake. Anything else now, Heather?
Nope, that's all I've got for today, JR, and we'll look forward to speaking with you tomorrow.
Okay, well, thank you for filling in, and you guys stay safe, and thanks for all the hard work.
Thank you.
Heather Brannon of the Incident Management Team sitting in for Mayor Koplin, who is taking a much-deserved breather, trying to get his oxygen levels back. And he's not sick. It's just, a lot of pressure, obviously. Spent his entire weekend taking calls, and people said, you know what, you need to step away for a sec. So we certainly don't fault him for that. Thank you, Heather, for stepping in. Our briefing programs air weekdays in the 1 p.m., 5 p.m., and 8 p.m. hours. They're also archived on our YouTube channel. Robbie created that with the name Cordova TV, so go to youtube.com/Cordova TV, and you can hear all of the special programming, talk shows, management team briefings, and these mayor briefings, if you ever miss one on the radio. Thanks for listening, and we'll get regular programming back underway on the Clam and the Eagle.